see a web of wires in the sky?
Yeah.
These are all people going up and taking electricity just like that, so they don't pay. And it can cause a fire. And if there is a fire, at one time 500 shacks are gone.
Of course.
Yeah.
And we had an interesting conversation when we went with Cornelius.
Yeah.
I saw this for the first time in my life on the autobahn, right?
Yeah.
And then I asked him, what is this? And he started explaining. And then he said, they steal the electricity. I can handle that. But then he said they don't pay rent. Yeah, but I was like, what are you talking about? How are you going to pay rent for this?
Yeah.
You see? I was so surprised that he even mentioned that.
Yeah. Because there's a inherent conflict.
Okay, so what is the conflict?
Between colored people and black people.
Yes.
Because colored people have got slightly better housing. So they pay rent, they pay electricity.
Yes.
And they say these guys don't pay anything and the government is looking after them and
right.
not the colored people. Because they have something.
Okay. But you said there's 1 million colored.
Yeah, but
and
it's spread all over.
37 million blacks. So will the government provide housing and electricity for
colored people?
No, for
No. They have to pay.
And why is that?
Why is that? Because under apartheid, they were considered privileged, though not as privileged as the white.
Hello everyone, my name is Nomtanazo Sipozo. Many call me Tandy because my name is too long. I am the project manager of ILISO Care Society.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 28 years old, turning 29 next month.
And when did you start that project? Look at me. When did you start the project?
ILISO Care Society started the year 2005.
Yes.
Started by Mama Vivian, who was the managing director and the founder of the organization.
Yes.
I myself started to join the organization in the year 2016.
Why?
The reason why is because I'm passionate about community development. I love community development. I love working with people. I love making a difference in the society I'm staying in. That is why I was part of ILISO.
And did you have formal education or studying in developing?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. I studied from until grade 12. I passed my grade 12. Currently, I'm busy pursuing my studies on accounting sciences. Okay. But I didn't study anything that has to do with community development. It's just a passion that I'm having.
And how did you find Vivian?
How did I find Vivian? Wow, that is quite an interesting question. I was working for a big company, South African Medical Research Council. So while I was working for that company, Mamvi happened to be one of the camps that we had for the elderly group. So she was one of the speakers. She came to our camp with the elderly group and shared how she started ILISO. So after the presentation she made, I was eager to learn more about ILISO. So that's how I started to be part of ILISO Care Society.
And you want to continue in this ILISO project? Or do you want to focus on one, or you want to do various projects?
I want to do various projects because we as ILISO, we're not only having one program, we're having plus minus projects in the whole entire organization. So we're not only focusing on one. Wherever we see a gap or a need, we act on it as the organization.
Okay. You live in Kalija?
No, I stay in Nyanga, but Nyanga is not far from Kalija. It's just 10 minutes drive from where I'm staying.
I came here for the first time yesterday and I was amazed by the amount of people that are living here. I was thinking like 50,000 and then Vaki said, no, it's 2 million. And this is twice as big as the city where I'm from. And I was trying to understand from the logistics, how is that possible,
Yeah.
right? And then Mama Vivian earlier explained to me sometimes you have 10 people living in one shack, but it's just unbelievable. I've never ever seen anything like that. So the work you're doing is wonderful. And yesterday I sent the video of your children to a friend from Benin, and he said to me, that was so funny, he said, oh, they all look so good and so well fed, and they all have shoes, and I'm like, yes, they do. So you're doing a good job. How is the acceptance within Kalicha? Do people like you? Do they make your life hard? Is there envy, greed?
With ILISO that has been here operating in Kalicha, people do love us. People do appreciate the difference we make in their lives.
Right.
They come here each and every single day. We're having a soup kitchen.
Yes.
That we're having from 12 o'clock. You'll be seeing so many people from the community, young and old, coming to get a meal. They appreciate the difference we bring in their lives.
And do they offer their help? Do they ask what can we do? How to, what do they offer?
Yes, they do offer their help. Like within the organization, we're having the programs where we are funded, but some of the contracts they come to an end. So just now, within an hour ago, there were 4 ladies that came to me and said, Tandy, we know that the program has come to an end, but you are willing to volunteer to give back to the organization. Just because the contract ended doesn't mean that you should stay at home, which is a good thing for us as an NPO. So they're saying we're still continuing serving where we were working previously. So they're always there to assist us. Wherever we're having awarenesses, whatever we're having in the organization, they're always there to help us.
That is nice.
Yes.
I have learned the word period poverty the last week for the first time. And of course, if you open up your heart to problems and all of a sudden it's not only hunger, it's not only education. I've never heard of this, never ever. Is this a big problem in Kalicha?
Yes. As Vaki have explained that we have more than 2 million people in Kalicha. It's a lot. If you can go to each and every household, not far, just few houses from where we are, there are so many people living in one shack.
Yes.
We're having formal and informal settlements that we live in.
This is something I didn't understand. What's the difference?
The difference between formal, we'll say it's a government subsidy house,
okay.
The normal houses, so that when we have winter, they don't get crashed easily because it's a subsidy government house.
Okay.
Then you have an informal, which is a shack. A shack can be easily bent through the fire, can be easily destroyed because of the wind, because of the heavy rains that are coming, because we're having a seasonal winter season between May until July, if I'm not mistaken. So during that time when there are heavy rains, most of the shack will collapse because they're not that strong, because it's a shack that has been built.
We're talking about the aluminium shacks.
Yes.
These things you would not normally give your dog, right?
Yes.
So what do the people do when it's raining and it breaks together?
When it's raining and it breaks together, we have what you call City of Cape Town disaster. So if it happens that you are one of the victims, maybe there was a heavy rain or floods, then they will take you to a certain community hall until they rebuild the structure again.
But they rebuild the same structure,
yes,
or they do it better?
Yes, it's the same structure.
Oh, so there's no development there?
No, there's no development.
And the floors is earth or is it cement?
It's cement.
Cement.
Yes.
So they built the aluminium on the cement.
Yes.
And when it's summertime, people must have a heart attack of the heat in here.
Yes, the heat is there. If it's hot during summertime, like today it's hot, they are forced to stay outside the house because it's too hot.
It's too hot.
Yes.
And I've seen they all have their satellites to see TV.
Yes, that is, we'll say it's a government subsidy, those satellites. It's just for your TV to play well. Otherwise, it's just that.
Okay, Vivian explained to me about the water, the electricity, and the toilets. So if you want to wash yourself, you go outside or you get a bucket and go into the shack, right?
Yes, like now, if you go this side, just after ILISO outside, there are 6 temporary toilets. In each toilet, there are 5 or 10 people that are sharing that toilet. It's different household. They're not from the same family. It's different household. They're sharing that one toilet. So if you want to take a shower or you want to bath, you need to go to that one tap where you have so many people that are sharing that tap. Then you get the amount of water you want. Then you go back to your household where you take a bath. So we are sharing whatever we're having, we are sharing with so many people.
Right, and they're coming every day more and more, right?
Yes.
From war zones, from men that already work here, and their spouses come. Okay, the period poverty. So there's no material for hygiene for young women, right?
No.
And the systems to sue stuff doesn't really work because it's blood, and blood needs to be held. What is the solution? What is it that you think, oh, this can be solved?
With poverty,
period poverty, it's one of the biggest challenges we're having, especially for young girls, because some of the young girls have dropped out of school because they don't have sanitary pads during that process. We know that period takes place for 4 to 5 days depending on each young girl. So with us as ILISO, through Vaki, we have a partnership we're having with students from Germany, Wuppertal. They'll be assisting us to make our own pads that will be affordable for those young girls, in order for them to be able to go to school and not feel ashamed when they reach that period of their lives on a monthly basis. So now we are busy working on the pads project, which is coming up soon, but I cannot unpack the details yet until everything has been finalized. So we are working on something as ILISO, of course, with Wuppertal and Vaki George. I can tell the way you talk and the expression of your face that you really enjoy that work and to make a difference, right? Your personal dreams. What is your personal dream? You have one?
Yes, I do have one.
A trip where you want to go, a thing you want to see. What's your personal dream?
To be honest, I never saw myself working for a non-profit organization. While I was growing up, I wanted to be a space science astronomer. I always imagined myself being on the space. I wanted to go to the moon. But we always have plans with our lives, but some things happen along the way. So I don't regret the fact that I'm part of ILISO Care Society, because I have seen the love and passion that I'm having for the community I'm serving. The only prayer that I'm having is to continue to serve the community we're living in and make the difference by transforming the lives of young and old people we are living with in Kailicha. So it's one of my biggest dreams, we as ILISO, to expand, because we're also having a branch in the Eastern Cape, but we don't want to expand only to the Eastern Cape, but other parts of the country, not only in South Africa, but even overseas at large. So it is one of our biggest goal and dreams to expand our services to make the difference in the community we're living in.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Because we're talking about an amount of 2 million people, and Mama Vivian was talking earlier about an accident that somebody died. Now, of course, you have birth every day and you have death every day in Kailicha. The birth I understand, but what's happening with the dead people? Where do they go? Where do they bring them?
Okay. As Mama V has explained, one of our colleagues was involved in a fatal car crash. And your question is, where do the dead people go? Yes. We do have mortuaries.
Okay.
Yes, where if you're involved in a car accident, or if you're passed away from home or at the hospital, they take you to the state mortuary.
Okay, but this is not happening here in Kailicha.
It's happening in Kailicha because there's also other undertakers or funeral parlors in Kailicha.
And there's a cemetery in Kailicha.
Yes, there's a huge
cemetery. This is like a complete working city under horrible circumstances.
Yes.
But everything works. You have school, you have kindergarten, you have I have to say that again, the most horrible thing I've ever seen are these shacks. And you have a functioning system. That is amazing.
Yes, Vivian.
Very amazing. Last private question. How long is your hair?
I have a big afro, but this one is an artificial dreadlocks.
Okay.
It's just an extension. But myself, I have a natural hair, a big afro.
And how long does the extension go?
It's long until here
Okay.
bounce.
You ever wear it open?
Not all the time because of it has to be neat because I need to represent the organization.
Right.
So I always need to make sure I tied it.
Right.
Unless I'm going away on a weekend or on my spare time, then I can untie it. But because of my work.
And I have seen the stairs you go up. How many times a day you get with your head to that stair and do boom?
Because we are careful with the stairs,
Right.
but there are few chances. But sometimes because of the pressure, you totally
You
forget
forget
the stairs
and then
and you're
you
like
go,
boom, and
boom.
you're like, okay,
Yes.
ouch.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Tandy.
so much, Natalie.
You want to say something to Vera or to the others?
Yeah,
It's always nice to have that on video.
Yeah, yes. I am grateful. We are grateful as ILISO to have people like Vera in our organization, people that they don't sleep, they work extra mile to make sure they make change in our lives. We are quite grateful. May God continue to bless Vera and you, of course, Natalie, the time that you've come and spent with us. And with COVID-19, we have learned a lot that life is too short. We need to appreciate the people that are around us.
Absolutely.
So we are grateful as ILISO. We are super, super grateful for the impact and the role you play in the organization. As you'll be going back home, please do remember us while you're speaking with your friend and while you're busy with networking that, you know what, there's an NPO in culture that is making a huge difference.
Right.
So do not stop talking about the work that you're doing on the ground. In all, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Drops are falling on the rainy days. Drops are falling on the rainy days. Seas are wakened. The earth is shaking. The roots are growing. The leaves are growing. The flowers dancing. The bees are buzzing.